What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and I wanted to talk about similar to the McGregor video I talked about. I talked about how McGregor, how he's so famous, he has a personal brand, but now I want to talk a little bit about Jake Paul. I don't want to make it too much about Jake Paul. I kind of want to talk about why it's super important to have a personal brand. But Jake Paul is another case study, right? Of kind of the point that I wanted to get through with McGregor, but I think Jake Paul is even a freaking better case study because he didn't come from a fighting background. He came from just a YouTube background, right? And sure, he was in Disney. I'm sure that helped, but he was mainly a YouTube background. And suddenly he's fighting. He got in a ring with Anthony Joshua, Anderson Silva, UFC legend. He got in a ring with Mike Tyson. I know he was in his 60s, but still, he got in a ring with him, with Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's younger brother. Like, he got in a ring with, like, some big fucking people, right? And there's boxers. There's boxers who are 10 times, 100 times better than Jake Paul, but they're not as well known as Jake Paul. They don't sell at stadiums like Jake Paul does. They're not they're not recognized like Jake Paul is. They're not selling pay-per-views like Jake Paul is. The point is, Jake Paul built a freaking personal brand. Everyone knows who he is, whether you like him or not. I know a lot of people hate him, but you got to respect the fact that he fucking built a personal brand that has him recognized. Like, he's in his late 20s and this guy's a freaking multimillionaire, right? Because he built such a powerful personal brand, right? And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be the skills. The point of this video that I want to talk about is the skill part of it. I don't think skills are great, but skills only take you so far, right? Now, I've heard this term from Brandon Carter. He talks about there's 3 forms of leverage, right, to make money, and it's money itself, right, media, and skills. And you could definitely become very successful with skills, right? But people have to know you exist. People have to know you're around, right? If people don't know you exist, people don't know how great you are, then the skills are pointless, right? The reason why I say this is because when I started my AI automation agency, right, for like 3 months, I remember I was sitting in my room. I was, building on N8N workflows. I was just building cool workflows, AI bots, AI agents, fucking, like a bunch of cool workflows, setting up webhooks. I don't want to get too far into this if you don't follow AI automation. I was doing HTTP requests. And the thing is, no one was paying me for it. If anything, I was paying to use N8N. Why? Because no one knew I fucking existed. And that's the point. That's the point. I was in my room. No one knew I existed. No one knew I was doing this. I guess part of me was magically hoping, oh, someone's gonna knock on my door and say, man, you're amazing. I want to hire you. I'm gonna pay you $5,000 a month so you can set up some AI automation for me. No, like it doesn't work that way. It works. If I would have started sooner, speaking with people outside of my house, going out of my comfort zone, I probably would have reached people better, right? But if I had a strong personal brand, like Nick Sarev, and there's Stephen G. Pope, and many other creators, I probably would have reached clients a lot faster, right? And that's the point, right? Even if I was mediocre at AI automation, even if I wasn't that great at it, but people knew who I was, people associated me, people probably would have just paid me just because they know who I am, they recognize me, they know my personality, right? And that's the power of having a personal brand, right? I talked about it with McGregor and fighting and how he's such a good marketer. He makes people want to watch him fight, even if he wasn't the best fighter, right? Khabib is a better fighter. But because Khabib is not like Conor, Conor is such a great marketer that Conor was able to get rich because of his personality, because of the way he was able to get attention towards him, right? And that's how Jake Paul's a master at doing that. Jake Paul's another case study of it, right? And the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight happened last night, right? And yes, Jake Paul got knocked out. People are saying, "Oh, the fight is fixed." I don't think it was fixed. Anthony Joshua broke his jaw. I don't think that's something you do when it's fixed. But yeah, the fight was I didn't watch the fight, but there were highlights that I saw, and you got to give Jake Paul credit for a minute. You got to give him credit, and yeah, he got in the ring with Anthony Joshua, but he understands. He built a social media audience. He has such a large audience on social media. He is fucking famous. People know who he is. And he may not be the best boxer, but he's probably more famous than most boxers just because of what he does, right? And sometimes that matters more than skill, is for people to know you exist, right? Having a personal brand might just be more important than you just having skills. I'm not saying that skills is bad and you shouldn't go for skills. I think you should go for skills. But just know that if you have good skills but no one knows you exist, it's basically toilet paper. Like it might not do you justice if no one knows how good you are at the skill, right? People have to know you have the skills to do shit, right? And that's the thing, that's the point. That's a big reason, right? Why I create content. So I don't expect something to happen tomorrow. I'm not trying to become viral. I don't care about that. What I care about is the long-term aspect of it. It's going to make my life easier, right? It might give me more opportunities in the future for things. It might give me more opportunities to work with certain people, for social opportunities. Like inbound leads. Alex Hormozy talks about it. Another guy who has an excellent personal brand. But Alex Hormozy talks about it in his book, $100 million offers. No, $100 million leads. Sorry. He talks about it, $100 million leads. He talks about how if you want to get more inbound leads, build a personal brand on social media, right? Because people will start to trust you, and they will start coming into your social media. They'll start recognizing you in social media, and they'll want to work with you, right? And you basically sold yourself with your content. So you don't have to sell yourself nearly as much, right? And the thing is, it's so accessible. We all have phones. We all have cameras. You don't need expensive, fancy equipment. Like I bought this microphone right here. It was like $100 on Amazon. You don't even need a microphone. I probably could have just done it without a microphone. I just did it because I already knew what I was doing. And yeah, you just need CapCut and just edit the videos. You don't even need to do some crazy shit. We have AI now, so you could do some cool stuff. And it doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be TikTok. I know some people love TikTok. I hate TikTok because I just think that app is the most distracting shit on the planet. But I know people love using TikTok. There's Instagram. You could do short form. You could do long form. You could do whatever you want, right? We have so many different platforms, and that's the point. Like you can start just building something very, very small. You could start just talking. If you don't know what to talk about, just talk about your interests. Talk about what you usually expose yourself to. You never know. Seriously. And it's not something that happens overnight. It happens little by little, right? It happens like a seed, right? You plant a seed and you start watering the seed. You don't see the roots growing below the surface, but something's growing, right? And then over time, it starts growing a little tree or a plant, whatever it is, right? And yeah, you just gotta just look. Think of guys like Jake Paul. Think of guys like Conor McGregor, right? Sometimes you don't need to be the best. Sometimes you just need to be the most recognizable, right? Sometimes you just need to be the most well-known person, and that's what social media helps you do, right? And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe. I'm gonna keep creating more content like this, and take care.